Tonight we are tracking three major levies on the ballot in Kootenai County. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. The first levy is for the Coeur d'Alene School District, which has already declared a financial emergency. The other two are for the Lakeland School District. So let's see where the results stand at this hour. The Coeur d'Alene supplemental levy is currently passing by about 73% in favor and 27% against it tonight. Meantime, in Lakeland, the supplemental levy is passing with 60% in favor and about 40% against. And the Lakeland School District Plant Facility Reserve Levy also passing 63 to 37 right now. It is important to note these results are not final. Votes are still being counted at this hour, so we'll have more results coming up tomorrow morning on Up with KREM. New tonight, Spokane police identified a body found in the Spokane River last week as 20-year-old Joseph Kamau. Kamau was first reported missing back in early March. Police say he was last seen at his home near Gonzaga sometime after midnight. He worked at a nearby McDonald's but stopped reporting for his shifts. His family spoke with KREM 2 back in March. They said he got along with everybody and called to check in every day.
I want you to know that we love him so much.
The investigation continues as the cause and manner of death have not yet been released. Also new tonight, a former North Idaho College professor was arrested today for allegedly attacking a board member. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk is on the campus with the story tonight.
Tonight, we've learned that former assistant professor has been released to jail, according to the inmate roster. Today, North Idaho College putting out a statement essentially summarizing what happened this morning and afternoon. But first, here's what we know about the man arrested. His name is Zachary Schallbetter, and the college says he was hired last fall as an assistant professor to teach web and graphic design. His contract, however, ended last week on May 12th. According to the college, Schallbetter allegedly walked into trustee Todd Banducci's Coeur d'Alene office unannounced, went past the reception area and verbally threatened him, then threw a large bucket of liquid over Banducci's desk, soaking him, his computer, and other office equipment. The college says Banducci and others restrained Schallbetter until Coeur d'Alene police arrived. He's being charged with battery and malicious injury to property. Now, there is a special board meeting scheduled for tomorrow night, and it'll be interesting to see if Banducci addresses and talks about what happened here. We're also going to try to get a copy of the court documents and police report. But for now, reporting outside the Kootenai County Jail, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
All right, turning to weather now. A week of sunshine is taking a turn now with much of the region under a flood watch as we speak. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo for more on what we need to know. Jeremy?
Well, Mark, that flood watch, unfortunately or fortunately, however we want to look at it, has just expired. So latest information in says the storms are easing and we've kind of dodged a bullet for the most part. That being said, we do have two flood warnings in effect right now. One of those stays in effect through Sunday morning, and that's all the way up for the Kettle River near Ferry and Curlew, and then the other one all the way over in the Cascades, and that's the Stehekin River at Stehekin. So overall, we're just kind of watching the atmosphere calm down. A few scattered showers remain kind of in the atmosphere. Most of our activity over in Montana here in Spokane, not much. Radar feedback seems to be the case. Tomorrow, it looks like we get a round of storms kind of moving in through the middle of the day and then eventually tapering off overnight. And by Thursday, looks to be much drier, much warmer across much of the region. Temperatures climbing back into the 80s and then even warmer, even sunnier come Friday.
All right, sounds good, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Developing tonight, a Bonners Ferry family displaced after lightning struck a tree near their house, and that lightning caused one of their pipes to burst, flooding the home. The lightning also burned wires throughout the house, filling it with smoke. KREM 2 spoke exclusively with the person who owns the home. He said the accident was a complete shock.
It blew the main water pipe in coming into the house, and that was shooting straight out into the laundry room where the fire was, and it was just flooding the entire house. So meantime, when I'm running downstairs getting all my stuff, the ceiling was raining. It was coming out of all the light fixtures, out of the water, out of the power outlets. It was something.
Neighbors have been quick to help, offering food and places to stay. The family now hopes that insurance will cover the rest of the costs. Meantime, tonight we are learning more about a house fire in St. Mary's that killed a 14-year-old girl. The Idaho State Fire Marshal's Service says that fire started with a damaged electrical cord on a freezer. The small town has been rocked by this tragedy. Donation sites have been set up across town for the girl's family. The school district superintendent also told KREM 2 crisis counselors are in the schools to help students and staff who are struggling right now. And a shocking murder out of Texas tonight after police say a 12-year-old shot and killed a Sonic employee with an AR-15 style rifle. According to police, the 12-year-old was with another man, an older man, who started urinating in the Sonic parking lot. An employee came out and asked him to stop, and that's when the 12-year-old grabbed the rifle, according to police, and shot the employee several times. The suspect is now being held at a juvenile facility. And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. A North Hills neighborhood, which includes Garland Street here in Spokane, working towards compromise after the public display of pride flags were brought up at a council meeting. The neighborhood voted in favor of putting up the flags on, at the most, 7 poles in the Garland district. The neighborhood chair says this is the first time an area-wide display has been organized, but it's important to note businesses can opt out of the display if they choose. The vote comes just a few weeks out from Pride Month, which kicks off on June 1st. And today, the United Soccer League announced Spokane was selected to receive a professional women's soccer team. After the news, I spoke with Katie Harnatu with Acqui Sports, which is the investor group buying the expansion club rights for USL Spokane. She says this is a huge deal for Spokane and for women's sports.
It's going to open up a pathway for youth to pro in the United States, which is mind-blowing to me that we could have a little girl in Spokane who could end up playing in college and coming back to Spokane and playing for a professional soccer team.
The plan for the women's team is to start playing in the fall of 2024. Katie says they anticipate getting interest from players from all across the world. And Spokane neighbors met at the Spokane Central Library tonight to figure out how to make our streets safer for drivers. That meeting was the first of 3 that will happen in different neighborhoods around the city. People at tonight's meeting were asked to identify 5 priority projects for each neighborhood, and those 5 problems were then passed on to engineers to figure out solutions. For a full list of meeting times, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just text us the word night to 509-448-2000 and we'll send them directly to your phone. Well, just hours after beginning a special session, Washington lawmakers passed and Governor Jay Inslee signed a new drug possession law. Under the new proposal, drug possession will become a gross misdemeanor. The first 2 offenses mean sentences or can mean sentences of up to 180 days in jail.
If we cannot offer hope for these people that are in the throes of addiction, what good are we?
Now, had a decision not been reached, drugs were potentially going to be legalized later this summer. Meantime, Governor Jay Inslee today signed the capital and operating budget for the next 2 years. More than $1 billion is being put toward affordable housing and behavioral health. The budget also includes funding for education, salmon recovery, climate, and law enforcement training. And we continue our Boomtown coverage tonight with a look at a project that's been decades in the making and likely won't be done anytime soon. But new funding allotted by Governor Jay Inslee in the latest state budget means workers won't have to stop, at least for the next 2 years. Coming up in 10 minutes or so, KREM 2's Whitney Ward talks to some of the people most impacted by the construction going forward. We are continuing to track the growth in our region all this week long with our Boomtown series. So tomorrow morning on Up with KREM, we are taking a look at the price of homes in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. With more people moving to our area, it's no surprise the cost of a single-family home, well, they've increased. But how much is too much?
So average home price in Spokane right now is about $391,000. I know that seems like a lot, but we do have some other homes depending on what area you're looking for.
So tomorrow morning on Up with KREM, our Channing Curtis asks the experts just how much the average home costs in our area and how much you need to make in order to buy one. And our Boomtown coverage doesn't stop on the air. You can find all of our Boomtown content on KREM 2 Plus. It is free to download on Roku and Amazon Fire. You can also text us the word Boomtown to 509-448-2000 and we'll send you a link to all of our stories straight to your phone. Well, it is that time of the year again. The first Copper River salmon delivery landed in Washington today. The first catch is coming from Cordova, Alaska, and its contents will head straight to restaurants and stores all across the Northwest. Their long journey gives them extra fat and extra taste, and that means they also cost extra. Last year, Copper River salmon was going for as much as $130 a pound. Seattle chef Tom Douglas says when it comes to a fish like that, the key to serving it is simplicity. And heads up, if you're planning your next family vacation, the Leavenworth Adventure Park is set to open next month. The new theme park is right next to the downtown area, and it features an alpine coaster, which they are calling the first in Washington. At 2,700 feet long, the coaster features scenic views as well as drops and curves. The Leavenworth Adventure Park will hold its grand opening coming up on June 1st. Meanwhile, Oregon just announced the state's first psilocybin therapy program. The Oregon Health Authority licensed the first service center for magic mushrooms for people 21 and older. They won't need prescriptions or referrals from a doctor, but they will have to do a preparation session with a licensed facilitator. If they meet the criteria, they can undergo supervised psilocybin sessions.